There is still no sign of calm in the Middle East. Israel accepting an Egyptian proposal for a ceasefire, but Hamas said no. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talked about the consequences for the latest failed plan for peace.
If Hamas rejects the Egyptian proposal and the rocket fire from Gaza does not cease, and that appears to be the case now, we are prepared to continue and intensify our operation to protect our people. And for this, we expect full support from the responsible members of the international community.
Well, the truce was supposed to go into effect early this morning, but as you heard there, the Israeli military saying that 24 rockets had been fired into Israel from the Hamas-controlled portions of the Gaza Strip since that ceasefire was expected to begin. Meantime, in Washington, D.C., President Obama hosting an iftar dinner celebrating Ramadan. During the affair, the president said the U.S. believes Israel has a right to defend itself from these Hamas rocket attacks. He also added that, quote, further escalation benefits no one, least of all the Israeli and Palestinian people. So we, the U.S., are going to continue to do everything we can to facilitate a return to the 2012 ceasefire. The iftar guests included diplomats, politicians, religious and grassroots leaders in the Muslim and other faith communities. President Clinton began the tradition, and it was continued by President George W. Bush. Now, as for the immigration crisis, President Obama does have the power to grant reprieve to millions of illegal immigrants. He can grant many of the estimated 11 million immigrants who recently entered the United States over the last 10 years or so some sort of relief simply by telling the Department of Homeland Security not to continue their deportation cases. But the president cannot legalize immigrants on his own. Immigration reform ultimately depends on Congress, and we'll talk more about that, a specific plan that Congress has in place right now. First, though, the flight to deport a group of Honduran children took off Monday. The charter plane landed in San Pedro Sula, the city with the highest murder rate in the world. More than 30 immigrants were returned. The deportation is part of the president's pledge to speed up the process of sending some of these illegal immigrant minors back to Central America. Now for another big scandal, the Veterans Affairs scandal we're talking about here. It's going to cost an extra $1.4 billion to provide benefits for U.S. military veterans. This will happen in the next 5 years without management officials, or improvements rather, according to the latest Inspector General's report. The Department of Veterans Affairs inaccurately processes about 1/3 of the benefits claims during a 2-month review and failed to make a final decision on claims for more than 6,000 veterans. Last night, the House Committee on Veterans Affairs held a hearing on the processes inside the Department of Veterans Affairs to improve benefits administration for ex-soldiers. And in Utah, an Army National Guardsman shot and killed 2 people before taking his own life.
It appears that he kicked in the door and then opened fire on the male and the female individual that was in the room.
Police say the 23-year-old man then went to a second apartment but did not find the person he was looking for and killed himself. The suicide note was found saying that he was sorry for what he was about to do and that it was selfish. Meantime, a suspect in the 2012 attack on the U.S. diplomatic compound in Benghazi, Libya, has been found dead, according to a Libyan source. 2 days ago, al-Shabibi was the last seen being detained by a local militia in Marj. It is unclear what happened to him but his body was found Monday in the eastern Libyan town. The attack on the U.S. compound left 4 Americans dead, including the U.S. ambassador to Libya, Chris Stevens. And some Republicans say his comment about legitimate rape back in 2012 cost the GOP a Senate seat, maybe more. Todd Akin is out now with a new book called Firing Back, taking on the party bosses and the media elite to protect our faith and freedom. Make sure you stay with Newsmax TV today. Coming up, a one-on-one interview with the Steve Malzberg Show. Akin joins the program. He's going to talk about why he's backtracking on that 2012 apology and what he has planned next for his political career.